because you just can't hear it anywhere.
Yeah. Okay. I'll just make one comment and invite either of you to come and share an idea, if you so wish. Yeah, it sometimes seems as though it's a dying art form. If you trace back the history from probably the 1950s till the present time, and what you're saying in terms of if it's not recorded, we are going to really lose it. The other thing is that maybe those of us who are lovers of the art form, if even we ourselves were to lobby the government via writing to our MPs, I sometimes am of the opinion that you'll just see it perhaps mentioned in their manifestos, and there it will remain. Please, any of you want to take that?
I've got a quick question.
Yes.
I would first of all like to thank the Mediation Board for bringing the mighty chalk dust here. Something like this is long overdue because we are consistently importing models for mediation from other countries. We would not stop doing it. People like chalk dust have something very important to say. And when we look around the Caribbean, the disputing models which exist in the Caribbean, we're not using. We have cast those things aside. And I think your appearance today is a benchmark. And I would like to see in future symposiums that we bring Calypsonians in. They have a very important message to tell us. Thank you very much, Mr. Chalkdust.
I also think that the matter of not hearing calypsos has to do with quality. We have a paradox in that most of the soca we're hearing now seems to be earning the artists a great deal of money, but none of them lasting. If you go to any old times party now, or oldie goldies as they call it, you're hearing tunes, whether it is reggae, the calypso, whatever it is from the 70s. The only thing that rivals that is, in fact, the classical music. And as Chalky himself said, the day that he and Duke resigned, the thing would turn to jam and wine. And that is true.
In relation to the question about the availability of calypsos, indeed there is a problem with the ability of calypsonians to record their music on CD. I mean, there's no question about it. What has started happening of late is that calypso tents, and certainly has happened this year, calypso tents are actually producing a CD or a DVD of the calypsos that came out of their tent. There's also usually available a set of CDs or DVDs, you can get them in both formats, for Skinner Park every year. I mean, I've had those for the past few years, yeah? So I mean, that's one way that you can actually access those calypsos. When they produce live, the quality is different from when they go in a studio, clearly, right? So that's one of the things that we have to deal with. There's also WAC, which is 90.1, and 91, and also another radio station, 91.1, and there are two stations that are almost, I would say, almost completely dedicated to calypso music. Yeah, so it is possible to hear some calypso music. The calypsonians, those who are able to record, do take the music to those two stations. There is Short Pants, who has a show on 91.1 on Sunday evenings, and you can actually call in and ask him to hear any calypso that you would like, and he would gladly play it for you. Yeah. In relation to the costs of producing a CD, I understand it is quite phenomenal. You have to rent a studio, you have to go into the studio and do all the stuff inside of there. Many calypsonians can't do that. They don't have the financial resources to do it. So it is appropriate to ask to set up that that there is some mechanism in the country that does that. And the other thing is to enhance and extend the life of the calypso. I believe that there is a space for it in the process of dispute resolution.
Yes, ladies and gentlemen. Yes, gentlemen.
Yeah, I think Dr. Phillips is quite right in the sense that to record calypso in the way it should be recorded is a very expensive thing. So what the younger fellows are doing today, they have this little synthesizer, quick thing, fast thing, etc. But when the older guys record calypsos, they use saxophones, trombones, etc., a whole band. And when you use that, if you don't use that, some of the radio stations don't play them. They say it's too thin. So recording a calypso in a good way is a very expensive thing. I nearly reached the courthouse through recording. I couldn't pay back the bill because it's very, very expensive, very, very expensive. I had to pay back the bank, etc. And so that's one of the reasons why you can't get calypsos. But the gentleman is quite right. We have lost hundreds of calypsos because they were not recorded. And from all through the ages, there was a gentleman in Port of Spain long ago who used to print calypso words, etc. Booton Alkins and them says, print the words. You could get the words. But they stopped doing that. Nobody is buying them again. So we have lost hundreds of calypsos. And those calypsos we have lost them for students. Students have lost, we have robbed the students of them. Because in every topic you could think about, there's a calypso. Any topic you could think about, there's a calypso. I gave a talk once at Mount St. Benedict, telling the priest and them up there, young priest, the topic for every calypso. And then the Archbishop was there, Archbishop Panton at the time. And he says, Chalky, I think you're wrong. I say, why, Your Grace? He says, I hear plenty calypsos, but two of them I hearing. Thou shalt not covet thy neighbor's goods, and thou shalt not covet thy neighbor's wife. I say, Your Grace, this is my thing. I ain't tongue long. You have any topic you could think about. For thou shalt not covet thy neighbor's goods. Here, it's not written, it's recorded, but you can't find the words now. Here, Christo. Never hang your hat where your hand can reach. You remember calypso? Yeah. Mrs. Neighbor, jealous, etc., etc. Never hang your hat where you can't reach. And then there's Rose, sixth commandment. Thou shalt not covet thy neighbor's wife. Here, Rose. Give me the ring before you get the thing. Give me the ring before you get the thing. So any topic you could think about, they are calypsos. But some of them not recorded, and we robbed the students of them. Years ago, Tuco, Dr. Phillips, Tuco started something. They asked to form a national recording company to record all those calypsos. That's over 10 years now. 10 years now, they're still asking government for the money to set up the recording company. Up to this day, not a cent. Because the little money the government give them, they just pay out in prizes. And they can't get money to start this national recording company. I hope you know that last year, or this 2013, it was our 100th year, 100 years that Calypsonians have been recording. 100 years. They have invested in this country. Nobody has paid them back. Nobody has paid them back up to now.
Yes, gentlemen, excuse me. Two quick questions there.
And you can ask anything, don't worry.
Okay. Both of them is ironic. Most of the Calypsonians we have of the 30s, 40s, 50s, and come right up the road, never went to secondary school.
Right.
They produced some classic calypsos. Yep. Most of the Calypsonians we have today come out of the secondary school system, and all we gain is wave your flag, wind back, and jam back. Could you explain to me who is responsible for that? First question. Second question.
Let me ask me one time now. The education system. Our education, when I was in Nelson Street School, and you should know that, Standard 5, Dr. Phillips, I learned stocks and shares. I learned stocks and shares in primary school. I went to St. Mary's College. I never do English in St. Mary's College. I went to university and passed a university examination in English based on my primary school. This is no joke. I and Keith Smith, we passed the exams, a whole long story. But today, most of the, I'm shocked to say that, I'm sorry, most of our calypsonians, the standard have fallen so badly that they lack the education. People has asked me, Chucky, making the final. I say, so, them better than me then. Kitchener tell them once, he said, but I didn't make the final once. And Kitchener tell him, they ask Kitchener, Kitch, what do you think of Chucky out of the final? Kitchener say, Chucky out of the final? They say, yes. He say, how much calypso they pick? They say, 24. Chucky, Kitchener say, so it had 24 calypso better than Chucky? In other words, most of our calypsonians today come from the grassroots, but they lack the education because the system has gone right down. And if you think it's calypsonian alone, let me say it one time. They asked me, Judge Cochran, they asked me to correct UE papers. I ain't joking this, you could print it. And they give me University of West Indies papers. They give me 45 of them to correct. I failed 43 of them.
Yes.
When I hand it back, here they tell me, Chucky had to pass them. I say, pass that. They don't know what is a relative pronoun. They don't know what is a verb. They don't know agreement to sound and verb. And these are UE students.
I can speak to that as well. Yes.
So where's the calypso?
I can speak to that from my experience. Yeah. But let me go back a little bit.
Yes, John, before you do that, so the last question. Another ironic question. Calypso business is big business all over the world.
Yeah.
But in Trinidad and Tobago, calypsonians begging cap in hand for money to survive. Explain that from a bit.
All right. What I want to speak to is is a response that Chalky left out in response to the first part of the question, right? About the popularity of soca as opposed to calypso. And this year, Brian London had Benjai on stage with him at the start of his performance. And Benjai was trying to persuade Brian London to come and sing soca. And he says, well, I can't come and sing soca. And he gives him the reasons why, right? But Benjai say one calypso, one song, right? And your pocket fat, right? And as opposed to in a calypso, you have to struggle to make a living as a calypsonian, right? But when you consider the amount of money that soca artists make compared to what you get in calypso music, you can understand why people go to sing soca, where you only have to have 2 words, right? And you
make thousands.
And you make thousands, yes, and you make thousands, So that in part responds to the question that you've asked as well.
What we pay Crazy at the tent, Crazy making that when he passed in one show.
Yes.
And making twice that.
Yes.
One show
Yes. When you think of the amount of money Marshall Montano make,
I'm not going to say that here, boy. Marshall Montano make $50 million in the show, in one day show. All you want to say, 30 million he make, and he put it on the papers.
Yeah.
To answer your question again, when I first saw Lion for the first time, where do you think I met Lion? I met Lion in the public library. First time I see Lions in the public library, some big books. What do you think he's doing? Calypso writing. That's the answer. To do calypso, you have to do research.
Yes.
Research. Because you're singing truth. And if you think we're getting paid now, although calypsos don't make money, what about Pretender and them who sing all these beautiful calypsos? How much money they make? Here Pretender tell me. He say, I sing for 3 days up in the country, Arima. We take the train and come down. 3 days, we sing in calypso up in the country. When I reach in town, we get 50 cents. We have 150 cents. Who didn't have 150 cents for him? An executor watching the 50 cents, cocky eye. And he said, well, if you get out 10 cents in your mind, he said, they mash up the money, they buy a petticoat, and they give who execute some of the money, and he had none to get. They give him a bag of orange. A bag of orange. Here the executor tell him, Pretty, hold on to them orange, boy. Them is navel orange, Them is good navel orange, That is the salary for 3 days of singing calypso. A bag of navel orange. Power say, great, Sonny Francois, all over the country, die penniless. Why? He said the first time he gets salary was a roti. And Melody say, give me half. If you don't give me half, you ain't going on stage, Give me half. So calypsonians in the past sang beautiful songs, but no money, so they die penniless. Duke won the crown 4 times. 4 times, 4 straight. How much money he win? $4,000. 1,000 each in the 1980s. You know when he died, people say, how Duke have no money? It's 4,000 he win. It's not 4 million. But people feel, yeah, people feel he's a lawyer. So you have to watch that. So many of us died and he lost. Rashot here, he lost all his money in Canada, he lost his band. He came down here, poor and polite. So sometimes when the calypsonians die, those fellas really make no money.
Well,
so they have, yes, right.
Let me add one thing to that, right? Yeah. That what Heather McIntosh sang this year, that nothing is good in Trinidad until America says so. And again, that's the issue of
cultural imperialism.
Cultural imperialism, yeah. You know, and the issue of resolving disputes and so on and so forth. You know, I mean, you look at the issue with the Andrews sisters, yes, and Roman Coca-Cola.
And Invader won 30,000 and he lost.
Yeah. So,
I tell my
do we value our culture? You know, actually, what's his name? The guy with the